Hey everybody, Kimmy Weintraub here on the set of the Money Channel at the gorgeous Rosewood Baha Mar in Nassau, Bahamas. We're at the Centurion conference, and I have the pleasure of being with CEO Michael Breen of GT Biopharma. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
We love it. Here, we are so lucky to be in the Bahamas. So for those who don't know about GT Biopharma, can you give us an overview of your company?
Sure, very happy to. So we're a clinical research oncology company. We are trying to find a more humane method for killing cancer. We are currently conducting a phase 1 first-in-human trial for blood cancer, specifically for AML and MDS. We will have a second trial, first-in-human again, next year, starting for solid tumors. And then in 2027, we're planning on having another trial, again, first-in-human, for autoimmune disease. So we've got a lot going on, but we're very excited. Very, very lovely to be here too.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your work. And just, could you say something that maybe separates you from other immuno-oncology companies?
Yes, so the specific thing is our technology, we utilize what's called an NK cell engager. So NK stands for natural killer cell engager. And that effectively is the body's own natural immune system, which is the white blood cells, which if you have any sort of fever or anything that comes into the body, any illness, your white blood cells normally attack it and kill it. In the case of certain cancers, what effectively happens is the white blood cells either don't recognize the cancer to effectively kill it, or they do recognize it, but they're unable to kill it because there's not enough persistence. So our technology basically wakes up, or my phrase I love to use is turbocharges it, so that there is lots of activation of the white blood cells, but then also proliferation. So there's enough blood cells and also persistence to kill all of the cancer. And the key thing I would also add about our technology is it's a platform technology. So we call it a trike. So it's a protein effectively, and it's called a trike because it's tri for tripartite, or 3 parts, and then KE for natural killer engager. And when I say it's a platform technology, we can swap out the binder part of the molecule. And so for blood cancer, we use CD33, which binds onto the cancer, the blood cancer cell. But we just remove the CD33 and swap it with something called B7H3, which pretty much, it's agreed, all solid tumors highly express. Then the B7H3 binds onto the solid tumor cancer cell. And then finally, for autoimmune disease, it's the same principle. We swap out whether it's CD33 or B7H3, and we replace it with something called CD19. And CD19 is what binds onto the autoimmune cell to kill it.
So interesting. And so if you want to talk more about the clinical trials and maybe the response that you've had?
Sure, I'd be delighted to. So the clinical trials, we did a first-in-human trial in 2021 with what we now refer to as our first-generation molecule. And in patients 5, 7, 9, and 11, we got pretty good blast count reductions in the bone marrow of those patients, right across all of the dose levels. So they ranged from, I think it was 33% for the low dose, which would have been 25 micrograms per kilogram of body weight, all the way up to 66% for, I think it was 50 and 100 micrograms per kilogram. And then for the final one at 50, we achieved 50% blast count reductions. And I would also add that in terms of its safety profile, it was extremely safe. We had in patient 11, so the patient who was given the highest dose at 150 micrograms per kilogram, they had a very mild fever, and that was easily treated with Tylenol. So very safe.
Amazing results.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
on all your hard work.
Thank you so much.
And so you mentioned your new technologies for, I think, the NK treatment. So
Yes.
Can you talk about the changing landscape of technology? How do you stay up to date?
So we are extremely lucky in that regard, actually. So we have the technology we license from the University of Minnesota, and our consulting senior medical director is a gentleman called Professor Miller. He is actually the inventor of our science. Professor Miller has been the key opinion leader, without question, in our space for the last 25 years. He's got over 170 peer-reviewed publications. He is the professor of hematology at the NCI University of Minnesota Masonic Cancer Hospital, and he and his entire team, which, as you can imagine, is a very large faculty of researchers and PhDs and assistant professors, they do all of the work to ensure that we're constantly pushing the envelope. And actually, in that regard, we do have some things in the pipeline coming down the line.
Well, we are very thankful for him then.
Yes, we are indeed.
So to move forward with some key developments, could you say one thing that you're excited about to tell investors, maybe about the future of the company?
Okay, so this is a pretty easy takeaway. So I mentioned earlier that in 2026, we're going to commence a first-in-human phase 1 trial for solid tumors, and we're going to hit all of the major solid tumors. So we're going to hit lung cancer, pancreatic cancer, bladder cancer, ovarian cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer. And what I'm going to say about the entire space is that it's estimated worldwide to be worth approximately $400 billion. If we achieve just one signal in any one of the basket trials that we're going to be attacking, then I think it's reasonable to say that our company will be of much greater value after that.
Thank you. What a great answer. Thank you so much for your work. It's meaningful work, emotional work, and obviously a good financial upside.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Michael, thank you so much for your time. It's been
Thank you.
fantastic.